Oh, good evening and welcome to Be More Super with me, Bryan, your host, with my co-host, with the most, it's Dan Fudge. How are you, Dan?
That was some very dramatic countdown music, Brian. I'm a big fan of that. That's new.
Yes, it's very dramatic, a bit like my last week, but yes. I wanted to switch it up because the music before was a bit like sort of whimsical, isn't it? We've
A
got
bit
Julia.
teeny bopper, wasn't it?
Hi, Bryan and Dan. Nice to see you both again. Do you know what? It seems like a lifetime when we were last on together because I think it was a couple of weeks because
Hmm.
I had Justin Howell on Saturday, not last Saturday, the Saturday before, I think, and then yeah, and then obviously we've got tonight. But you're busy next week.
Yep.
But you will be missed. But I'm sure you'll be back before you know it because you're very, very
I'm off
busy. You're on
to I'm
holiday.
off to Tunisia, so I'm going to come back with a wonderfully red face. It's going to look absolutely disgusting in this light, and I think the last time we were on, we
Yeah.
were talking to Thor, and you were talking to me about not having seen Rebel Moon. So
Yes.
I gave it a watch. I watched both of them. Me and the missus sat down and binged them one day after the other. And halfway through, she went, "It's a bit Star Wars in this, isn't it?" I went, "Well, I know some interesting facts about that." So I
Yeah.
absolutely bored her to death about it after we watched it, and and it was interesting actually because especially the second part, especially Rebel Moon
Mm.
2, there's definitely very much a Star Wars vibe to it. Um, Now I can't remember. Thor didn't commit on the day, did he? But I believe that there is going to be a third installment of that entire franchise, right?
Well, no. What he said, there's going to be a director's cut. So what we've seen on screen, it's about 70 to 75% of what Zach actually shot. So because it
Hmm.
was on Netflix, they wanted to bring it down a bit. They didn't want it as X-rated and well, R-rated, should X-rated,
Yeah, it's got some
R-rated. Um,
adult themes in there. There's a
mm,
bit of SA and and significant violence, and it was weird to see who are the two characters that were in Game of Thrones that played the same character in the same movie. One of them's Ed Screen.
yes.
Dario Naharis is the character, isn't he,
Mm,
in Game of Thrones? And they're both in the same movie. I was like,
yeah.
the thing, and then I'm just boring her to death while she's trying to watch this bloody movie. You know what I mean
You do
about
it. You do.
about the law.
You are doing the typical woman thing where they ask you 101 questions during watching something like what's happening, who's that, why is that happening. So you're doing, yeah, role
I've
reversal.
seen the same as she has. You know what I mean? But I was boring her about the meta of it. Like, they
Yeah.
both played Dario Naharis. Have you any idea what that? Ed Screen left because he didn't want to get in the politics of Game of Thrones. And then these two people didn't even look like each other. And then one geezer turns up in one season. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
And do you know what? Thor did such a good job with not spoiling anything because his
Yeah.
scenes in these sort of the trenches, I was like, good for you. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I you know what? I look forward to the R-rated version because I think that it's going to be a lot more interesting. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed it. I just felt it was missing a few things for me. It was a great story, and I think that it was just flirting on the edge of actually being spectacular. But I
Yeah.
think that's probably because the R-rated, you know, bit
Yeah,
of it.
the second one specifically, when the war actually kicks in, you feel like this is missing something. It's a bit made for TV, like when they edited RoboCop in the 80s to be on network television, that type of thing. It kind of had that vibe. Now, listen to me, Brazamataz.
Yeah.
You've been in Chicago the last week. Uh,
Yes.
how's the jet lag kicking
Yes.
in? Tell me what you got up to. I want to
Oh,
know all
mate.
the things.
So, I've been over in Chicago for the Comic and Entertainment Expo, or C2E2. So I was flown out there by the wonderful people from SWAU
Mhm.
because I host on their channel as well. And what an amazing time. But can I just say, it nearly fell at the first hurdle. So I got there at like, I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Mhm.
Got my
And you've been on a
bag.
flight all night,
No. This is down to Heathrow. So this is
right?
before I actually left to go to Chicago. Got my bags, went up to the check in, right? handed my passport over. She scanned it, and she was like, "Hmm." She went, "Have you not got a visa?" And I was like, "Sorry." And she went,
You didn't get the Esther sorted out.
"No, well, I didn't know about the Esther. I thought you fill out that form on the plane." So literally, straight away, I was like, "Oh my dear God!"
And you've
I
got to
just
frantically do one on the phone.
And I just looked at her and I said, "What? I can't fly?" And she went, "Yeah, well, let's not get to that point yet. I mean, if I give you this address." So I went straight on my phone, applied, paid it, but it says up to 72 hours. But she
Mm.
said that if you keep checking it, and no lie, 7:10 in the morning was when the gate would have shut for accepting any more luggage. Guess what time my Esther came through?
11 past.
No, no. 7:05. So literally, I had
Oh.
5 minutes to get from the front of the airport to the actual check-in desk, right? And when I got there, there were about 40 people waiting. Literally, I went frantic. I went in diva mode. I shouted at the woman. I went, "I've got it! I've got it!" And then she got me right to the front, and I got on the plane. And honest to God, I have never felt so. Well, the thing is,
Stupid.
I've been to the States 40, 50 times. I never knew
Yeah.
you had to get an Esther.
Really?
Yeah, because before you had to fill out a form actually on the plane, which is
Right.
the paper version of an Esther, isn't it? It's like your
Mhm.
visa. But obviously now it's electronic. But I'm glad to say that I've got it now, so I don't have to worry now for a
You've got
few
2
years.
years now, mate. You're all right. You're all right.
Yeah, but on the way back, it was quite funny. I got to Chicago Airport and I was just checking my bag, checking my wallet, and as I opened up the bag, I was on like the second floor of the concourse, and my wallet fell out and my passport fell out, and I just caught it just as it was going to go through the gap. And honestly, I'm just like jinxed on this journey. But no, what a great convention. Absolutely amazing. So I was in the back, in the private area, with people like Mads Mikkelsen, Lars Mikkelsen, so Mads from Hannibal and Bond
James Bond, yeah.
yeah, Star Wars and obviously Lars, Maya Hawke, she was lovely. That's
Wow.
Robin from Stranger Things. Who else? Chad Michael Murray from One Tree Hill and Gilmore Girls and everything like that. And he was actually really really nice, really nice. He was
What's he doing now? What is he
he's
up to? 'Cause,
he's literally just done a load of films with Bruce Willis. If you look on his IMDb, literally the last like 6 films he's done, every single film was with Bruce Willis,
Bruce
which is
Willis, is he like
crazy.
Amber now?
But no, I mean it was just an amazing place. I mean I flew over on Wednesday and I came back yesterday. Um, and it was just crazy. It was just amazing. I got chased by this lovely woman. One night I went to get some food. I was a bit tired, so I thought I'll get some food and I'll get back to the hotel. So I got into the corner shop, the new news agents, as I kept calling it, and people were like, "What?" And I got some Pacifico beer. And then I went
Nice.
to what's that pizza place? Oh, Papa John's. And so I
Right.
got myself like a small pizza. But on the way back, there was a woman in the middle of the intersection, and she had a big 2x4 piece of wood, and she was trying to hit cars with this piece of wood. And as I
Brilliant.
walked past her, she literally chased me down the road with this piece of wood, and all the people around me were screaming like in terror, and I'm the only one laughing my head off because I thought it was funny because one, she couldn't run that fast, right? So I knew I wasn't in immediate danger, and it was a piece of wood. But everyone was panicking, like trying to shout, call the police and everything like that. And I was just chuckling to myself. But the next night, there was a bloke at the same intersection with his trousers around his ankles trying to climb on bonnets of cars. So I don't know if this is like the true Chicago experience, but yeah. But I
Do you know,
met.
I tell you what,
Yeah, go on.
I love the States for that, right? So there's right on one hand, right, there is some genuine poverty out there because of the way they're and it's usually I believe it's something like 94% of people that are homeless are because of a medical bill because of the way they're,
Mm.
on one hand you've got that, on the other side you've just got some absolute local characters, as you'd call them, right? And and you marry that with the dramatic way that the Americans are. It's just fun to watch as British people who have that reserve that, even when we
Mm,
think we're having a bit of a tearaway night out, we've still got a reserve. They don't have a filter. They don't have a filter. But what I notice about the States the most, and I don't know if you ever picked up on this, and I want you to try and think back, a lot of them all have a weird walk. There's this thing
mm,
that American people have got, and they've all got problems with their knees, their legs, which again is probably down to the way that their healthcare system works out there, but also that they spend all day every day in their cars. Like
mm.
everything they do, because of these satellite villages that they started building around big cities, everybody drives in and drives out, and when there's a 45-minute car journey, they don't think twice about it. Whereas if we're driving 45 minutes, bread's got 4 different names and the accent's changed twice. You know what I mean? So
That is
there's a
true.
yeah, there's a weird thing, and everybody seems to have like a limp or a waddle or something like that in the States, and I find that absolutely hilarious.
Do you know?
I do.
It's funny you say that. I think I fitted in quite well because after a couple of days, I had a
You
bit of a
were
limp
waddling.
because every time I took my shoe off at the end of the day, my foot was bleeding. I was like
Brilliant.
literally walking that much. I think I walked. I worked out the steps. I did 45,000 steps a day. So
Christ.
I worked it out, and it's like 70 miles. So it's equivalent of 70 miles. So that's like from here to Manchester. Um,
Christ.
yeah, I know. So there weren't any sitting down, but one of the guys that I actually met, and I sort of got stitched up with the guys in the back. So obviously, I'm a big Superman fan, and there was a
Proper.
guest in the back that is well known for voicing Superman in a lot of the animated films for
Mhm,
DC. He's also well
mhm.
known for other things as well. And on his private signing, they had all the pictures there, but there was only one for Superman. And I was like, thank goodness someone's chose Superman. And then his agent overheard me and said, "Oh, are you a fan?" I said, "Yeah, he's awesome." And it's of course Darren Chris, who you will know from Glee. He was in
Wow, yeah,
Glee.
yeah. He was the lead singer of the Treblemakers in Glee,
Yeah,
and does one
exactly.
of my favorite covers of Pink's "Raise Your Glass."
There you go. But you know what? He was so nice. He was so nice to chat with. Um, and I chatted to him for about 10 minutes before he had to go to sign stuff for the fans. But yeah, it was really nice. But I didn't get anything signed by him. But you know what? I've got a lovely photo there to keep. Um, but yeah, so I will be releasing footage and stuff on the SWAU channel. So what I
Mhm.
might do is add the SWAU channel to the comments below, and then everyone can go on there and check that out as well because I had such a good time. Because if anyone's after any signed items like signed autographs, they are such a great company. They take
Mhm.
care in everything. I mean,
They
there's
don't
companies
sort
out.
out your visa for you, but the rest of it they do really well.
I tell you what, there are companies out there. Yeah, there's companies out there that literally would send all your stuff by FedEx and
Mhm.
not worry about it. But bearing in mind we're in Chicago, they drove. There was a guy that drove from Chicago back to Florida overnight. He went
Chicago
through.
to Florida,
That's through 5 states, and he
that's
he drove
20 hours driving at least.
and he drove back because he wanted to make sure that everyone's pieces that had been signed for the company got back to their headquarters safe. Because if you did it by FedEx overnight, you never know what's going to happen. So that's how committed this company is, and it just, I was astonished. But they do appear at the UK ones, so at MCM and London Film and Comic Con, they'll have booths there for authentication. But I will put a link at the bottom so people can actually check the company out. Someone's just put their WhatsApp number, which I'm not going to put on screen. Achana. I don't think that's genuine. I think we might have a bit of a troll there.
Is there a cat in their bio? Because I keep clicking these bios and there's no cats. I don't know how the social media works apparently. So
Yeah,
they keep
yeah.
telling me that there's cats in their bio, and there's never a cat.
No, no, no. But we'll move on. Next week, just so everyone knows, I'm going to be live with a young man called Seth Lee. He's an actor, model, and musician. He was in The Accountant with Ben Affleck. He actually played the younger Ben Affleck in the movie. He's in a new indie movie called Bugs that is coming out. So I'm going to get him on the show next week. Bugs or Bugs. It depends where you are. I mean, it could be, the hooker situation. You know what I mean? With Doug. But yeah, I mean, join me next week at 8:00 for that one. Minus Dan, but I'll ring you, Dan, while you're in Tunisia. You can.
I look forward to it, mate.
See, you can do
I'm
it
on all
live from the
inclusive
pool.
as well.
That's just being inconsiderate.
Yeah, by Wednesday I'll be bloated. I'll just be a fat mess, and my girlfriend will be picking my bloated corpse out the shallow end because I've got no control over all inclusive. It's ridiculous. But anyway, tell me more. Tell me more about Chicago. I want to know who you met, what you did, who you
who did I meet? I met Christopher Lloyd, Kevin Smith. Jason Mewes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
How did he?
Steve Blum, who does a lot of voices for a lot of characters. I saw a lot of the cast of Ted Lasso there, which they're going to be in the UK as well at MCM. I've never seen Ted Lasso, so for me, I wasn't that excited to be honest. I saw.
Right, let me tell you. Let me just interject on Ted Lasso here, right? Ted Lasso is one of those, I think I've said it on this show before, one of those modern comedies where nothing really funny happens. It's not funny. You know what I mean? Comedy's kind of dead because of the world we're in now, and everybody's a little bit too afraid to say a lot of things. Big shout out to the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys who are still keeping it minging. But Ted Lasso is interesting because Jason Sudeikis is obviously a large name, and it's absolutely reinvigorated the career of Hannah Waddingham, and I don't dislike it, right? I don't hate it. It's like watching Community, or it's like watching Parks and Rec, or the American version of The Office, where you don't really wish any ill feeling against any of these characters. But is it that funny? Not particularly. However, excuse me, in Ted Lasso, they keep cutting to an ex-professional football player called Chris Powell to be the co-commentator. So when they're playing the football games in the show, they cut to Chris Powell. Chris Powell is now the assistant manager at Sheffield Wednesday, the team that I support and do the podcast for. So now there's a connection now between Ted Lasso. So having started it off for the last year, it's great. Ted Lasso, it's mint. You should watch it. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I will put that on my list. But they were busy. But I've got to say, the way that they do cons in the States, the place was literally, I would say, I don't know how many conventions you've been to in the UK, but it's like the cons here is probably less than quarter the size of the one in Chicago. It was enormous.
Wow, really?
Like literally, the convention center it was in, it was enormous. It was the McCormick Place Convention Center, I think it was called. But yeah, I met Hayden. I always get her surname wrong.
And
yeah, and she was lovely.
How tiny is she in real life? I bet she didn't come up.
Very tiny.
Yeah,
very tiny. Who else did I see? There was quite a few. I mean, obviously, Josh Brolin sadly had to cancel the day before because he had an ear infection, and we all know it's horrible traveling with an ear infection, especially if you're flying. It's like game over there. But the good news is, apparently, he's going to be returning to the MCU in some way or form as Thanos again. So we've got that to look forward to. That was in the news a couple of days ago.
It's interesting, isn't it? That we've had this constant teasing of the X-Men and Deadpool hitting the MCU and all the rest of it, and he plays two characters in that universe. How's that going to work?
But saying that, they had a lot of the cast of X-Men 97 at the show as well. So as you was walking around, you had like old school wrestlers. What was his name?
Did they have Bret the Hitman Hart?
No.
Was he there?
No.
Did he have Ric Flair? Did he have Hulk Hogan?
No,
Did they have? Oh, Rowdy Roddy Piper's passed away. Did they have the Bushwhackers? Oh God, they must be
no,
dead now. They
no.
were in their 60s, were wrestling in the early
Yeah.
90s. Uh,
Marty, is it
Marty
Marty?
Jannetty, the other one
Yes.
from The Rockers that got kicked through Brutus the Barber Beefcake's window in one of the biggest breakups with Shawn Michaels I've ever seen. I'm still not over.
Yes, he was there, and bless him, hardly anyone was getting his autograph. He was just sat at this table, and
I tell you
I
what,
felt for him.
he's one of those people that I genuinely feel sorry for because the Rockers were box office. They
Mm,
were exciting. They were fun to watch. And me being a 10-year-old kid, I was like, this is the greatest thing. They're great. They're so fun. It was all bright green spandex and the mullet haircut from, the similar to the 80s Rockers that you'd see. But they were called the Rockers. And then when they had that fallout, Bruce the Barber Beefcake injured his face, and he was kind of doing an interview process in what was called the barber shop. And then Shawn Michaels kicked Marty Jannetty through this window. And since that moment, you never heard anything from Marty Jannetty. Shawn Michaels went on to be a WWE
mm,
megastar as a Heartbreak Kid, right? And you kind of do feel sorry for MJ because you're like, 30 years has just been sat there going, I used to be a thing. You know what I mean? Like, how much I've got. There's only people of a certain age that will remember Marty Jannetty.
mm. But it was nice to see different stars. Like you had the voice cast of X-Men '97,
Yeah,
so
tell me about that.
so you had the cast there. You had the guy, is it Cal Dodd that does a voice of Wolverine, and
Mm.
it was quite nice to walk around. And I mean, as I said, it was enormous. Literally, I must have walked around probably about 30, 40 times and still missed some things. And then you had Spencer Wilding that I've spoken to many moons ago, and it was quite a nice surprise that he was there. And Spencer Wilding, for anyone that doesn't know, he was Darth Vader in Rogue One at the end, and
Mm.
he was
Mhm.
the Wolfman in the film with Anthony Hopkins, and he was in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was that big guy that puts the headphones on from Chris Pratt at this
Yeah,
start
yeah.
start of the film. Um, and I just went straight over to him and I was like, "Mate, I can't believe you're here." And we was having a chat for a bit, and
Oh, we
it was
recognised who
nice.
you
Nice.
were.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
remembered
yeah.
you.
And it was really nice. But I stuck out like a sore thumb because there was no one else there that was English really. So my voice,
Oh,
like literally, everyone was just turning around going, "Australian," and I was like, "No."
I love hamming up the English accent because all of a sudden, right, as soon as somebody makes reference to it, you end up talking like
Like
some
Hugh
British
Grant.
gent from Bridgerton. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So
I
like,
never
I,
knew.
the first time I went, I stopped off at a Dunkin' Donuts, get a quick snack and a coffee. Yeah, I've got
Hmm?
coffee at Dunkin' Donuts, and the lady at the speaker, she go, hi, what can I get you? And the spiel that they do, I went, hello, could I have this Dunkin' Donut and this coffee, please? That'd be great. Thank you very much. And as we pulled up to the next window, this girl who was waiting at the window went, "Hi, folks, just wait a minute." And I was like, "Oh, just wait." I didn't say anything. And you had this coming round, and it was a lady from the counter who went, "Oh my God, I love your accent." And I was like, and I went, "Thank you. That's really nice to hear." I've never spoke like that in my life, and I found myself doing it every time. Every time somebody made it, and you're like, "Oh my God, you're British," and you go, "Yes, yes, I am. I'm quite the Brit." And then they want to know where near London you're from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So, what part of London are you from? And it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm about 3.5 hours away from London. It's not that far, to be fair, compared to the Americans, because they will
yeah.
drive hours upon end. But no, it's great. I'm going to release a lot of the footage on the Swayu channel over the next few days. I'm just trying to get back to normal from being on that plane and traveling for so many hours, and I'm just literally ragged still. I really am.
I was waiting for the message from you today, going, "Fudge, this is no. I'm going to
Game
bed. See
over.
you later." Yeah, yeah. I
I
tell you what,
just
let's do the sponsors message, and
yes.
then let's talk about X Men '97 and the stuff you've got planned for this evening.
Right. Okay. So obviously, a prop store. We've got some exciting things to come for
Oh, what's happening?
prop store because they've got a new. The Expanse, which is like one of my favorite
Mhm.
shows. They're doing another auction of costume
Right.
pieces and everything like that. And there's a company called Nichelle, which is like a toy company. It's a licensing company, and they're releasing It's in pre-order stage. I should have got some photos. I'll have some up in the next couple of weeks. But they've got like a set of action figures for the show, for the characters, and the detail of
Wow.
them are crazy. And you can go on there and pre-order them. But obviously, Prop Store have got this auction coming up at the end of May, so I'm sure we're going to get them on and get someone, either Megan on or someone from LA, to come on to talk about the actual pieces. But for anyone that don't know who Prop Store is, Prop Store is there we go. I've got it at the bottom still. So Prop Store are the sponsors of the show. They are the only place to go to get your authentic screen use props and costume pieces. And you can actually get 10% off at the Buy Now section, which is over 5,000 products, by using a simple code. And the code
What's the code,
is...
Brian? Tell us the code.
Yes.
Tell us the code, Brian. What's the code?
The code is Bryan10. So literally, Bryan10 will get you 10% off, which is quite a bit. So you can go onto their website, which is scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now, which is propstore.com. Check it out. Check out their auctions as well, because they've got loads of auctions. They've got a poster auction coming up very, very soon from the UK branch, which I'm sure we'll get to cover at some point. And they've just finished the poster auction in the US that went really, really well. But yeah, I can't wait for the Expanse. I got an email, and currently I'm in an email with Prop Store with not one Bryan, but three. It's like
Three,
a
Brian.
Bryan.
That means we get 30% off.
Listen, it's like it's like a Bryan appreciation email chain. It is great. But can I just say, in America, I met two Bryans, and both of them were spelt with an I, not a Y, like me. And
You're so cool.
everywhere that I went for a coffee, they'll say, "Yeah, can I have your name?" And I'll say, "Bryan." Every single place, not only spelt it with an I, but spelt it brain. I should have taken a picture. I know Dave, my mate, he's taken a picture. We went into Chick-fil-A, which is lovely, absolutely amazing. The sauce is just amazing. They're opening a store in London, I think, in 2025.
They are.
Yeah, and he took a picture of the bag because it was quite funny. But yeah, 10% off, Bryan10. Visit propstore.com, get your 10% off. It's just great website to actually look at anyway. So if you're not sure of what things you might want to buy yourself, or buy a loved one for their birthday, bearing in mind it's my birthday next weekend. So if anyone wants to, you know what? Julia's just put, "Hello, Brain. Hi, Brain."
Hi, Brian.
Yes.
Hi, Brian.
Exactly. I you know, I got this for many, many years as well, but I don't mind. I've been called worse, to be fair. I really have. So, oh no, I'm putting up the Prop Store thing up again.
Bryan
there
10.
we go. Bryan10. So let's talk about films, new films that are coming out, because Russell Crowe. I was a bit confused, because Russell Crowe to me is a legend. He really is. Even off screen, he makes me laugh on the adventures he goes on and the stuff that he gets up to. But I'm sure
there was that wonderful picture he put up about 2 years ago. Do you remember, where he said taking the kids to work, and he'd gone to the Colosseum with his family, and he's kind of there in the background, like that really genuinely made me laugh. And then some of the movie choices he's done, you know, you're kind of like, oh God, you're better than that, Russell. You know, you're a good actor. What was that one where he gets in a bit of road rage because somebody beeped at him, and then he ends up trying to stop? Oh God, that was the shit.
But he was in one recently. I don't know if we spoke about it the last time we spoke, and I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I added it to my list. Yeah. It's 2 words. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, but he was in a film not long ago called The Pope's Exorcist, which I thought was really, really good. But then I got confused because there was another trailer that's just come out.
Twin movies. It happens a lot, doesn't it?
But with the same actor, but now instead of The Pope's Exorcist, this is called The Exorcism.
Yes.
Let's check out the trailer. So here we go.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's a job coming to me off the back of somebody else's tragedy.
Wow.
Bad, huh?
So what's with the stage? Have you forgotten what kind of movie we're making?
Set. Action.
Lord have mercy.
All kinds of messed up stuff happened when they were making movies like The Omen or The Exorcist. And the guy your dad replaced? Everything's cursed.
With my father's voice.
Tony, it's okay. You're okay, all right?
How did I get out of here?
So you're blacking out again? What is it this time?
This is something else.
He's off his meds. He's erratic. Father, what do I do?
I was saved once. Didn't believe that it could happen again.
Can he be saved?
It's not worth saving. And you know it.
I know you're afraid. Me too. It's all right to be afraid. Have faith. He will protect his children. When it happens, run.
I quite like the idea of it because, you know, it references all the stuff that's gone wrong, like sort of off screen during the Poltergeist and the Exorcist and everything like that.
Yeah, the
So-
first half of the trailer, I was in. I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
gone meta. And it's not him being a priest. He's like playing a priest and it's gone meta. And I'm well into this. And then the last half of the trailer, I was like, oh, it's a geezer who's possessed. It's kind of, he does possess things. Oh, we've seen all that. You know what I mean? Like the first half, I was in. I was
Yeah.
in. I was
Yeah,
all
yeah.
over it. And then the
But-
second half, I was like, oh, he's going to probably walk up walls and turn his head around the other way. And you know what I mean?
I mean, you know what? From what I've seen, I would go and watch it. Only because I like stuff like that. I like
Do you?
that. Yeah, I love sort of.
All the jump scares in it, like he even had in there the looking into the pill cabinet, and you know for a fact, as soon as she shuts that mirror, he's going to be stood behind it. You know, it had
Yeah.
every trope going in that second half of that trailer.
Well, it's from the creators of the Scream franchise, so it's going to
Well,
be like, yeah,
When I saw that, right, I thought, well, it might be a bit tongue in cheek, like the Scream franchise was, and I kind of like it. They're fun, right? But this
Yeah.
one looks like the Scream franchise has tried to take itself a bit seriously, which is a little bit. I don't know. Where are you on it? I'm 2.5 out of 5 on it. Like,
Do you know what?
Just on the
yeah,
trailer
I
alone.
mean, the trailer. I think sometimes, you know, it's a bit like when you interview someone for a job. They could be fantastic, but when they do the job, they're absolute rubbish. Or you get people that don't interview very well, but can do the job
Right.
hands down. So it's a bit like that with a trailer. You know, you're holding your opinion to the whole movie for like 2.5 minutes, two minutes. So I feel sorry for whoever's responsible for editing a trailer to
trailer
get that
together.
hype up. Do you know what I mean? so who knows? I mean, I quite like the look of it. I quite like the look of the cast. I quite like the concept of it, and it's Russell Crowe. He can't really do that bad. Even some of the films he's been in, you know, I think that this is quite daring for him because obviously he's the one that's going to be possessed, and he's not going to be the priest. You know, the alcoholic priest that banishes the demons. So that is coming out in summer. So that is something to look forward to. But I tell you what, there is a film that's coming out, which this man has made lots of great films, but some have been a bit, I don't know. But it's got Dakota Fanning in it, and we all know her from like the Twilight series and a lot of films like Man on Fire, which is great with Denzel Washington. But this film is called The Watchers, and it looks a really good concept. And I want to get your opinion, because I know that you are very much either one side or the other. It's never in the middle.
I'm hard to please.
Either
But if I am, I'm all in. Yeah.
You're always 80% probably you don't like something, and 20% you do. So let's have a look at the trailer for The Watchers.
I'm going out tonight. Try not to die. I thought you couldn't talk. Don't look at me like that. It's just something I do sometimes. Where's the car?
You have 5 seconds before the door is sealed. 5, 4, 3, 2.
What is happening? What is this place?
I don't mean to scare you, but we haven't much time. It's not wise to keep them waiting. They'll be very interested in someone new.
It's a window on the other side. They come every night.
And they watch us.
What is that? What are they doing?
Applause. For you, mean it.
How long have you been here?
I don't know.
And you've never seen one.
No one sees one and survives.
They have come to our world for a reason.
I'm not supposed to be here. And I'm not staying here.
They allow us to live because we follow their rules. You have broken too many.
What did you see?
I'm trying to get in. I saw myself.
Someone's out there.
Please open the door.
John? My husband's outside.
This is a trick.
Oh my God.
Okay, which side? 80% or 20%? Which is it?
I actually quite like the look of that, and the reason being is it gives us something new. There's something new there. The trailer I hated. There was this large sound effect where nothing actually happened on screen for some reason that happened. But I love the idea, the built stage, and if you look at them, you end up dying, and you've got the creepy old lady that they're all probably going to have to overpower at some point, and she'll probably escape at the end. I just hope they nail the ending, and it's not trash. You know what I mean? I want it to be aliens or people who dwell under land. I don't want it to be something stupid. You know what I mean? But I actually kind of like the look of that. But it's Dakota Fanning's a weird one for me because she's still the young girl that Joey calls in Friends to talk about imaginary friends. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird to see her in a role like that. But that actually looked like it was going to offer something new. You know, because like I've spoke before about programs like The Last of Us, that didn't give us really anything new outside of what we already seen on The Walking Dead. But for the people who like the Last of Us game, I can see how they were probably excited about it. But it was great storytelling in the game. But when it's shot for shot, what we're seeing that's new, and then in terms of zombies, what we're seeing that's new that The Walking Dead hasn't done. That's done so much. It's now gone out the other side, and it's sort of trash nowadays. But that looked like it was quite unique. I kind of like the look of that. That kind of excites me a bit.
Yeah, I mean, The Village that he wrote is from the creator of The Village. I thought that was absolute utter trash, and I didn't like it at all. But this one, actually, you don't know what it is. So for me, it's piqued my interest because it's going to be a simple, answer at the end. But I quite like those. I like films with twists and that make you think and that makes you question things. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. But any other news your ends that you know about in the world of entertainment?
Not news, but what I've been watching this week. As it's been a number of years since we lost Rick Mail, and to make this a little bit UK centric for a little bit, Rick Mail was an absolute national treasure and one of the there's been nobody before and nobody since like Rick Mail. And it was the anniversary of his passing a couple of weeks ago. So what I did was start watching a program with the Taskmaster himself, Greg Davies, called Man Down, where in the first series Rick Mail plays his father, and I am absolutely hooked. And I don't know why, because it's utter old school shitty 90s sitcom. It's ridiculous, and Greg Davies for me is hilarious in everything he does. I just like the way he does everything. He's got you can't be funny and you can't look good at the same time, and Greg Davies just doesn't care. He will just cover himself in milk for the front cover of his stand-up and stuff like that. I find him really very good, and Rick Mail added something to that show that they just haven't recreated in the following 3 seasons. But it's still a very good show. But I got into that on the back of the Rick Mail anniversary, and if you get the opportunity, I think it's on Netflix. Actually, it's definitely on Netflix in the UK. But if you're watching somewhere else, see if you can get a stream of a program called Man Down, because I know that the Taskmaster has just reached the States. Great program, really really well conceived. And if you get the opportunity to watch Greg Davies in Man Down, that is to me the epitome of British sitcom, and it's the last one that I've seen. It's not quite Mrs. Brown's Boys, don't get me wrong, because for some reason that decides it's going to hark back to 70s crap sitcom. But this one is a modern UK sitcom, and I'm hooked on it. I'm not allowed to watch it without the missus as well, so it's a great one you can watch with the girlfriend.
And for the viewers that are not UK based, the best way to describe Rick Mail is drop dead Fred. Because for all the American fans, straight away they know who we're talking about when we talk about Rick Mail. But yeah, he was such an amazing performer and comedian, and he's dearly lost. My wife, she absolutely loves Rick Mail. I mean, who didn't watch Bottom when the young ones, younger?
Bottom, The New Statesman, everything he did, he turned to gold. And I don't understand how he didn't have a bigger career. Like when you see some people have these careers in Hollywood when they've started from humble beginnings in UK TV, like Martin Freeman,
and Hugh Laurie, and
Hugh Laurie's a great example. I don't understand how Rick Mail didn't have that career, and I genuinely believe it's because Rick Mail being Rick Mail. And he probably just went, "Nah, fuck this. This is bullshit." Like, you can imagine him saying this, and he won't get involved in all the sycophantic nature that can surround Hollywood. And also, when I can imagine a lot of Americans watching Drop Dead Fred going, "What the hell is this? What the holy shit am I watching?" Because for him to go, "Hello, Snotface," and then wipe a bogey down someone's face, like they'd have gone, "What the fuck is this?"
It was like an educational film for the Americans to teach them about our sense of humor. Do you know what I mean?
Bogies.
It's sort of
bogies. Like, if you think about the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it was the Monty Python cast dressing up in ladies' clothing, going, "Oh no," and then wiping bogies down everybody's face. I don't understand how they find us so sophisticated, because when you really think about it, the stuff that's actually caught on over there has been utter trash.
Exactly. Benny Hill. Enough said. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like, yeah, of all the things that we're known for, Benny Hill is always the one up there.
Yeah.
But yes, so we're going to bid farewell. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to try and get some sleep, and you're going to get ready for Tunisia. Do you need any visas to go to Tunisia? I'm just throwing it out
No.
there just in case. No.
No,
You know.
I don't need any visas. I need some sun cream and I need my passport. And my mum always says you need a toothbrush, a clean pair of underpants, and a passport. That's all you need, and you can go away nowadays. That's all I need.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can buy whatever you want when you're out there. And I'll see you in probably 2 weeks' time then. And hopefully we'll get some great guests. I've got some lined up that I can't announce yet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can announce them very, very soon, because some of them are quite big. Some of them may, has been in a trilogy that has been well known around the world. And this person may be an Oscar-nominated actor 3 times over.
Are we getting proper people on this show now? Is that where we are?
Don't
Are we
say
that showbiz?
Don't say that. They're going to
Are we
be all
that
the
showbiz?
previous ones are like, what do you mean? We are proper.
I honestly, if we get like somebody like Anthony Hopkins on, I think
can you
Nina
imagine?
Bergman would go fair play. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? It would just like over a nice cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? Just relax.
Actually, Rebel Moon, when he's the voice of that robot, his voice adds so much gravitas to that character, because it's just a robot that they start bullying when you first see him, and then when he comes in and just kicks everybody's ass, you're like, how they've managed to age and give a robot some kind of gravitas, and it's just a hunk of tin, and we see those get effed up all over the place.
And if you watch the making, Anthony Hopkins actually recorded like so many different versions, because he recorded one version very robotic, and then Zach said, no, just be more you and how you would think, because obviously in his head he was thinking a robot, but the end result is just beautiful, really is.
It's stunning.
But thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, share. Obviously this is going live on X, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So please, whatever you're watching on, please hit subscribe and follow. And we'll see you next week for Seth Lee from Bugs and an accountant. He's been in loads of stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously the week after will be a surprise, because we've got quite a few guests lined up. And so keep an eye on our socials. But look after yourself, keep safe, and everyone stay super, and enjoy your holiday, Dan.
Cheers, man.